In the dead of winter, a tiny bird found itself in serious trouble. It had been trapped, stuck on the roof of a moving car for over 30 miles. Cold, exhausted, helpless. Most people would have never noticed, but one man did. He saw the little bird struggling, and he couldn't just walk away. He took off his sweatshirt, gently wrapped the bird inside, and held it close. For the first time in hours, the bird felt warmth again. It took a while, but slowly, it regained its strength. And when it was ready, the man opened his hands and let it go. Back into the sky, back to where it belonged. That wasn't the only life he would save. Not long after the bird was saved, the same man found himself face to face with another animal in need. This time, it was a cat, not just any cat. A stray, thin and skittish, with a metal can stuck over its head. It must have been looking for food, desperate, starving, trying to survive. But instead, it had gotten trapped. Now it wandered blindly, bumping into things, unable to see, unable to breathe properly. It was scared, and when animals are scared, they fight. The man knew that approaching a stray cat in panic mode was risky. It could scratch, bite, run away into danger. But instead of forcing the cat to accept his help, he did something different. He waited. He sat there, not too close, not too far, and he let the cat decide. It could leave, it could walk away, or it could stay. For a long moment, the cat stood still, ears twitching, body tense. Then, against all odds, it took a step forward, and another, until finally it was close enough. The man reached out, moving slowly, carefully. And with one swift motion, he pulled the can free. The cat bolted at first, running a few feet away. Then it stopped, turned around, looked at him, and in that moment, something changed, because that cat, the same one who had once fought to survive alone, chose not to leave. Later, that same cat became his pet. What started as a moment of fear and desperation became something more, something real, something permanent. Some animals get lost on land. Others, they fight for their lives in the water. The river was moving fast that day, too fast. The dog, thrown into the current, paddled desperately, but the water kept pushing it back, dragging it under. Every second counted. And on the riverbank, a group of strangers saw it happening. They had two choices. They could watch, or they could do something. Without hesitation, they linked hands, forming a human chain. One person holding on to another, stepping into the freezing, rushing water, pushing forward, reaching out. The dog saw them. And somehow, despite the exhaustion, despite the waves trying to pull it under, it kept paddling. It kept trying. It refused to give up. Until, finally, they grabbed hold of it. And together, with every ounce of strength they had left, they pulled it to safety. A dog that should have been lost forever, saved by a group of people who refused to do nothing. Elsewhere, a woman noticed a small bird struggling in the water. It was weak, unable to fly, close to drowning. She didn't think twice. Using a paddle, she reached out, trying to guide the bird to safety. But in its panic, the bird clawed at her hand, leaving a deep cut, drawing blood. She could have stopped. She could have let the pain win, but instead, she kept going. She fought through the pain and saved the bird, because some lives are worth a little struggle. On another day, a man walked through the woods and saw a hawk in distress. It was tangled, caught in a fishing line, unable to free itself. A predator, proud and strong, now completely helpless. Most people wouldn't dare get close to a hawk, but this man, he saw an animal that needed help, not a threat. With careful hands and patience, he worked to untangle the bird. The hawk was frightened. It flapped its wings, unsure if this was help or another danger. But finally, after what felt like forever, the man set it free. And without hesitation, the hawk spread its wings and flew away, never looking back. But that's the thing about kindness. You don't do it for a thank you. You do it because it's the right thing to do. These aren't just stories, they're reminders that even the smallest act of kindness can change everything. A bird, a cat, a dog, a hawk. They all had one thing in common, someone who cared enough to help. Because sometimes that's all it takes. A moment, a choice, a single act of compassion. If this story meant something to you, share it. Because kindness is contagious. And the more we spread it, the more lives we can save. If you want to hear more stories like this, hit subscribe. Because sometimes the smallest actions make the biggest difference.